Welcome to BAN3200. In this module, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful tools in business analytics, predictive models. This is where we learn how to use data not just to look at the past, but to actually start anticipating the future. So, at its heart, what is business analytics all about? It's about finding patterns in data. And that's a huge deal, right? Because if you can understand the patterns of what's already happened, you can start making some really good guesses about what's coming next. That right there is the core idea behind predictive models. Okay, so let's put a more formal definition on it. Predictive modeling is just the process of taking all that historical data, using statistical methods and other analytical techniques with one clear goal in mind, to estimate what might happen down the road. And believe me, this isn't just theory. This is happening right now, out in the real world. We're talking healthcare, finance, marketing, operations, you name it. Businesses are relying on these models to make incredibly important, high-stakes decisions every single day. So where do we even start? Well, our journey begins with a foundational concept that you will see everywhere: generalized linear models, or as we usually call them, GLMs. The best way to think about GLMs is as a super flexible, more powerful version of the traditional regression methods you might have seen before. It's that adaptability that makes them so incredibly popular and widely used. And their real superpower is that flexibility. See, some models are pretty picky. They need the data to look a certain way. But GLMs, they can handle all sorts of different data distributions, which makes them a powerful and, versatile tool to have in your toolkit. All right, next up, we're going to zoom in on one of the most common and practical techniques in the whole field: logistic regression. The main thing to remember about logistic regression is that it has a very specific job. It's designed for those situations where the thing you're trying to predict only has two possible outcomes. Think about it. So many business questions are simple yes or no questions. Is the customer going to churn? Yes or no. Was the campaign a success or a failure? Will we approve or reject this application? These are exactly the kind of binary questions where logistic regression really shines. From there, we'll get into a technique that's not only powerful, but also really intuitive. Let's talk about decision trees. And they work pretty much just like the name sounds. The model organizes a whole series of decisions and their potential outcomes into a simple, clear, tree-like structure. It's almost like a flowchart that leads you to a prediction. So why are these things so popular? Well, it comes down to one massive advantage. They're incredibly easy to understand. You can literally see how the model is making its decisions. And that makes it way easier for you to explain your results to your boss or a client, which is a huge benefit in any business. Now, building a model is great, but it's really only half the battle. Because once it's built, you have to ask the big question: is it any good? That's why we're also going to cover the absolutely critical topic of evaluating your model's performance. It all comes down to this one question. You've built your model, but how well does it actually perform? As an analyst, you have to be able to figure that out. And to answer that question, we use a specific set of tools. In this module, we'll introduce you to the essentials, like something called a confusion matrix, and some key metrics you'll hear all the time, like precision, recall, and the F1 score. Let's just take the confusion matrix. It sounds kind of complicated, but it's really just a simple table that gives you a quick visual breakdown of how your model is doing, showing you exactly where it was right, and just as important, where it went wrong. We'll also dive into metrics like precision and recall. You can think of precision as asking, of all the times our model predicted yes, how often was it actually correct? And recall asks, of all the real yes cases that were out there, how many did our model manage to find? And to round out our evaluation toolkit, we are also going to explore a really powerful visual method called the ROC curve. Its job is actually pretty simple. It helps us visualize just how accurately our model can tell the difference between one outcome and another. It gives you a nice graphical look at its overall predictive power. So let's kind of bring all these pieces together and take a quick look at your journey ahead in this module. By the time you finish up with this module, you'll have a solid understanding of the main types of predictive models used in data analysis, and you'll know the basic tools you need to use to evaluate their performance. This is the essential foundation for everything else. So let's get started. It's time to begin exploring the world of predictive models and learn exactly how they help organizations turn all that raw data into powerful, actionable insight.